I am a blue whale, and you, Lilla, are not human in the accepted sense, and therefore I am certain it is your ability to hear sounds on other levels that is allowing us to communicate. What I would love to say from the very beginning is that the communicating signals which man picks up while whales are giving them to one another are nothing to do with the language we speak or the understanding we have. When human beings play back the sounds which we transmit to one another, they mistakenly think that these are the sounds we hear while transmitting. The sounds captured are not the sounds we receive within ourselves. The sounds you receive are the sounds that you can hear, that you can pick up and assimilate. I feel you should know that you cannot hear most of the sounds that we make. There are sounds that are below, above, and all around those sounds which you have actually managed to pick up. Whales communicate mainly telepathically. However, when we are in danger, we let out certain calls, and sometimes we gasp, or make sounds which show we are having no pleasure at that moment. And when we are happy, we laugh. So, we transmit various sounds which have nothing to do with the actual words we are using. If we stopped communicating by words altogether and used telepathy 100%, there would still be certain sounds we would emit to add to the communication. Being telepathic doesn't mean you cannot laugh anymore. If all human beings were connected to each other by a telepathic link and just made sounds, if somebody came to Earth from space and stood among them, he would take back a record and say that human beings were primitive as they made only sounds, and the sounds that he recorded were the only sounds they knew how to communicate with. Words may be poetic and beautiful when spoken out loud, and you may admire poetry when it is written down. So if you transfer these things to a level of communication which needs no writing and no form or shape on the outside, you may wonder whether you are higher or lower in consciousness. However, we are all aiming at getting rid of things that burden us, rather than adding to our burdens. And books are heavy and take up a lot of room. Therefore, it is much better to communicate and gain knowledge without having to spend money on books and have a lot of them around. Releasing ourselves from things brings us into a higher consciousness.
Is it difficult to communicate with others on different levels of the sea?
On the surface level, there is a lot of disturbance in communication. At a slightly deeper level, there is a belt at which communication is absolutely beautiful. But if you go deeper still, it becomes difficult again, as a totally different kind of disturbance starts to occur.
How do you comprehend what I say? Do you get it as words?
No, I receive all this information in picture form, so that I am receiving a kind of videotape of everything happening, almost a kind of akashic record sensing.